Hello friends, Shrishti this side. Welcome to our channel. I hope you all are doing great. So, in today's video, I'm going to talk and explain about the two schools of Hindu law, that is Mitakshara school and Dayabhaga school. So, let's get started the video.
Schools of Hindu law, Mitakshara school and Dayabhaga school. Schools of Hindu law came into existence when different commentaries appeared to interpret Smritis with different local customs invoked in different parts of India. So in this, your commentary is one of the sources of the Hindu law, and commentary means when a work is done to explain a particular Smriti is called a commentary. Smriti is also one of the sources of the Hindu law, which means to remember, which has been remembered. And customs and uses. Custom and uses is also one of the sources of the Hindu law. It means to signify any rule, which having been continuously and uniformly observed for a long time. Properly speaking, there are mainly two schools of Hindu law. That is, one is Mitakshara school and another one is Dayabhaga school. Now let's begin with what is Mitakshara school. So, Mitakshara school is the most important commentary on the Yajnavalkya Smriti and is held in high esteem throughout India. It owes its authorship to Vijayaneshwara in the latter part of the 11th century, means it was written by Vijayaneshwara. The Mitakshara is of supreme authority throughout India except in Bengal and in Assam. Now, let's begin with what is Dayabhaga school. Dayabhaga is the chief commentary in Bengal. Dayabhaga is not a commentary on any one quote. It was written by Jimuta Vahana. It was written about 2 centuries later than the Mitakshara. It mainly deals with inheritance and partition. It is of supreme authority in Bengal and Assam. But even in Bengal and Assam, the Mitakshara is still regarded as a very high authority on all questions, in respect of which there is no conflict between Dayabhaga and Mitakshara. Now, as we have come across the definition of two different schools, that is Mitakshara school and Dayabhaga school, now let's begin with the sub-school of these two schools. Sub-school of Mitakshara school. Mitakshara school is thus divided into 5 sub-schools. All these schools acknowledge the supreme authority of Mitakshara but give preference to certain other treatises and commentaries also which contain passages of the Mitakshara. The 5 sub-schools of Mitakshara are as follows. First one is the Banaras school. The Banaras school prevails in the whole of northern India including Orissa. The Mithila school. The Mithila school prevails in Tirhut and North Bihar. It primarily follows the Mitakshara commentary, but in certain matters it differs from Mitakshara and other commentaries also. The Dravida or Madras school. The whole of the Madras state is governed by the Madras school of Hindu law. Bombay or Maharashtra school. The Bombay or Maharashtra school of Hindu law prevails in almost the whole of the state of Mumbai, including Gujarat, Kannada, and the parts where the Marathi language is spoken as the local language. Punjab school. Punjab school prevails in the part of the country called the East Punjab. This school is chiefly governed by customs. Sub-schools of Dayabhaga school. This school prevail in West Bengal and Assam with some variances based on authority of customs. Dayabhaga school accept following authorities of commentaries. They are Dayabhaga, Daya Tattva, Daya Sangraha, Viramitrodaya and Dattaka Chandrika. Now let's begin with the differences between the two schools. That is one Mitakshara school and another one is Dayabhaga school. Now as you have seen that I have made two columns, one is Dayabhaga school and another one is Mitakshara school. So under Dayabhaga school, first point is joint family system. Under Dayabhaga, this system considers both the male and female of the family. On the other hand, under Mitakshara school, this system considers only the male members of the family under the joint family system. Second point is as regard to right to property. Under Dayabhaga school, children have no right over property by birth and arise only after the death of their families. On the other hand, in Mitakshara school, the son, grandson and great-grandson acquire the right to property by birth. Third point is as regard to partition. Under Dayabhaga school, this system considers a physical separation of the property and giving partitions of property to their respective owners. On the other hand, under Mitakshara school, this system does partition of property only in terms of their shares. Fourth point is rights of women. Under Dayabhaga school, it gives the right to Shridhan to women and also the equal right in husband's property. Here, Shridhan means whatever a woman receives during her lifetime. It includes all movable, immovable property, gifts, etc. received by women prior to her marriage, during childbirth and during her widowhood. Women have absolute right over their Shridhan under Dayabhaga school. On the other hand, in Mitakshara school, women have no right and cannot demand partition. Fifth point is regards to inheritance. Under Dayabhaga school, the principle of inheritance is spiritual efficacy, that is, offering of pindas. On the other hand, under Mitakshara school, the principle of inheritance is consanguinity, that is, blood relationship. And the last but not the least, sixth point is regards to doctrine of factum valid. Under Dayabhaga school, doctrine of factum valid is fully recognized. So first we need to know what is doctrine of factum valid. So doctrine of factum valid means of act which should not be done is valid when it is done. This doctrine is applicable when there is obligation and not the legal prohibition. Under Mitakshara school, a fact cannot be altered by 100 texts. It is recognized to a very limited extent. Thank you for watching the video. If you have any query, then please drop at the comment box. Have a nice day ahead. Bye bye.